Good morning, everybody. Happy Mother's Day for all the women out there. We want to bless you and thank you and spoil you for all the wonderful things you've done in our lives as children, as adults. You guys are amazing, and we want to bless you. And I hope you're getting spoiled at home. I know I'm spoiling my wife right now because I've let her sleep in this morning, and she...
I'm coming.
Oh, she's coming.
I'm coming.
Uh-oh.
I'm here.
I hope she's appropriately dressed.
I'm here.
Honey,
here.
what are you doing?
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I didn't want to miss out on church.
Okay, all right. So you're
Happy
that
Mother's
dedicated.
Day.
You came out of bed just wearing your...
My jammies.
Okay, your jammies. Oh, you got salvo jammies. Okay, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
I just said it to everyone already.
I
Happy
was
Mother's
about
Day.
to say it back to you. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
What's
I
it-
hope you're being spoiled. I hope you're rugged up in bed like my big cozy dressing gown. I hope you're having breakfast in bed and you've got homemade cards. I'm going to show off my homemade cards. But yeah, I hope you're having a great morning so far.
We are going to have a shorter service this morning because we know Mother's Day is a day we can spoil all of our women, and we obviously want to make the most of it. So we know that you want to get to your families.
Yeah.
We obviously still want to have church because that's really important too. So that's why we're still doing it.
Yeah.
So it'll be a shorter service, and we'll actually have a WEBEX fellowship, which for those who don't know what that is, you can check the description. It'll tell you there, but also we'll have a video showing you how to get to it as well. But we'll have a fellowship after the service as well. Just a quick little catch up. Doesn't have to be long, just to say, hey, we're here. We would love to see your faces and hear your voices, all that sort of stuff. So join us at the end. Also, Red Shield Appeal, hun.
Yes.
Red Shield Appeal started really this month.
Yes.
We've actually got a very different appeal this year because we can't do the standard intersection.
Collection.
Yep.
Collection, we can't do our intersections. We can't do our static point collections.
Yep. Shopping centre sort of
We
stuff.
can't do our shopping
knocking
centre
on the doors, all that
knocks,
sort of stuff. We actually have a completely digital, internet only,
Digital.
digital door knock only.
It's
okay?
called Digital Door Knock.
Yeah.
It is a website. You don't have to be on Facebook to use it.
No.
It is a standalone website.
Yes.
So we've got a Broadford Salvo page, and then Mike and I each have a page. We've created our own page.
And
to
you
join
get
the
a
team.
chance to do it as well because we really
It's
need your
super
help.
simple.
We really need your help. We've got a massive total. We've got a total this year we want to get to so we can continue doing all that we do, but also not only that, do more as well
Yep.
to transform lives with the love of Jesus.
So last year we raised over $15,000.
This year we're wanting over 20.
Yeah. So our aim was 20, and that's going to be really, really tricky and hard to get. That's why we need your help.
Yeah.
So if you guys can create your own page too, that way you can share it to your friends and family, and they can then support
Absolutely.
you raising funding for it. Which means we're going to have greater exposure and we're going to reach more people, which is something that we can't do in COVID-19. So this is why it's online now.
So we need your help, guys. We need you to jump on in just a second and create a page.
Yep.
Set up a total that you want to achieve. You can do it $100. You can do $50. You can do $500. You can do $1,000. And whatever it may be, send it out to all your friends and family and see what you can do, raise up these funds.
Yeah, before we get to that though, I would just like to share a little Mother's Day prayer. Thinking of you on Mother's Day and saying a special prayer that God, who knows how dear you are, will keep you in his care, that he will bless your daily life with joys of every kind, with perfect health and happiness and peace of heart and mind. So happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there, and even the dads who are on their own. Happy Mother's Day. I just want to show off my beautiful cards. Can you hold them for me? So this one's from Mason. Mum, it's Mother's Day and super funny. Without us, Mother's Day wouldn't be possible. So we'll be waiting in the lounge room for our presents.
Cheeky.
So cheeky. Check out this beautiful card. That's me. Look at these little love hearts. Isn't it gorgeous? And look at the beautiful surprise. It's pop-up. How gorgeous
So I
is
believe
that?
that one's from Michaela.
That's
the other
from
one's from
Michaela.
Mace.
Yes.
And last but not least,
This one's from Hunter. I love you, Mum.
lovely glitter.
Yes, glitter everywhere. And he's got this little thing on the back. And then
Another pop-up.
another pop-up.
Wow.
So my kids were so impressed with that. And I was just blown away. So I love homemade cards. I hope you're getting homemade cards too.
Bless you guys.
Bless you.
See you on the other side of the video.
A reading from Psalm 31, verse 1 to 5. In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear to me. Come quickly to my rescue. Be my rock of refuge, a strong fortress to save me. Since you are my rock and my fortress, for the sake of your name, lead and guide me. Keep me free from the trap that is set for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Deliver me, Lord, my faithful God. As I read from Proverbs 31, let's give of our tithes and our offerings. The details will be at the bottom of the screen. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her.
Who is, for those who are, Facebook kind of fanatics or Facebook people, they would get this very easily. The point of Facebook friends and, friending somebody, it's kind of Facebook official as such, or even relationships, where you sort of either start dating someone or you get engaged or get married. You have to make it Facebook official, so you add it to your Facebook page, and all of a sudden it shows up and gets passed on to everybody.
I remember how excited I was when I made our relationship Facebook official.
Yeah. And I suppose some people see it as a big statement to say to the world, look, this is official now. And I suppose for those predating Facebook, it would have been something else. Maybe letters sent or...
Well, back in the day, didn't people used to give a ring or something, or a jacket, like a school jacket, or is that American?
I actually don't know.
So
I'd be curious to find out what it would have been.
I remember really early on in high school, we used to call it going steady. And then it flipped to going out.
Yep.
Like we're going out with each other.
Okay.
But I remember really early on, it used to be called going steady. So everyone knew you were going steady.
Okay, that's interesting. So so I suppose a question for me and for us to really talk about is, at what point would we have put on Facebook that we're Facebook official with Guy? Was it a moment? Was it an ongoing thing? Or
Yeah, no, I definitely had moments because, pardon me, coming back to faith and um, from the journey that I'd personally gone on to find Jesus again, it was so scary just telling my parents
yeah,
that I wanted
yeah.
to be a Christian, let alone change. Because I did. I changed my
Oh, you
spirituality
did change
on
the Facebook,
Facebook.
yeah.
I did. I did. I changed it from a spiritualist
Yep.
to Christian, and that was.
So that was a big thing for you.
It was
Okay.
kind of a big thing because when becoming a Christian, I'd lost a group of friends.
Yeah.
So I'd lost some friendships that I'd had for a really long time, and changing it to Christianity. My religion view was Christianity was quite huge because I was like, who else am I going to lose? But it was also kind of like a faith stand for me
Yep.
that I wanted to make to say, you know what? I have found Jesus. He has saved me, and I want the world to know. I want to declare it. So I can't tell you exactly when that was. It was definitely after telling my parents, and possibly even after becoming a soldier. So making that big commitment within myself to become a soldier, and not only committing to me but committing to God, the covenants that I took. I think that's when I was really serious and decided that I wanted to make it public.
But for me, I think growing up in a Christian household or a Catholic household, I kind of was always exposed by the church and always exposed to faith. And my mum confesses or remembers that I used to pray all the time and pray with her and before bed and that sort of stuff. But I think for me, the point in time was when emotion came into it. Because before that, it was kind of a stale, kind of just ritualistic kind of faith. But when emotion actually came into it, and that feeling of love, and not only that, but the wanting to love in return as well. I think that for me was the pivotal moment when emotion was included in the religion, so to speak. What has it meant for you to be in a relationship with God? Looking back prior to that, even and even now, what's been the best part? What's been
That's
the
a tough question.
Yeah.
There's so much, like it's so big. Just having a relationship is having Jesus there with me all the time. Even when I'm at my worst, or even when I'm at my lowest, he's still there and he still loves me, and I still feel that. I feel his presence. Not always when I'm down in whatever I'm experiencing.
Well, it's interesting you say that because like even a married couple can obviously have their partner there.
Yeah. And we go through.
But you can almost feel like you're still alone.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Yeah.
So like even in that sort of the intimate relationship of a married couple, there still can be that.
Definitely.
I'm by myself. Yeah.
The thought actually hit me when I was praying that I haven't been as faithful in prayer to Jesus as I want lately, because even though we've been home and, isolated from everyone, I'm still finding myself really busy, especially with homeschooling. And so I was just taking the solitude while I was driving to pray. And I was saying to Jesus, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I haven't been spending quality time with you lately. But this presence kind of came over me, and this thought was kind of pressed into me. I'm always here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm
Yeah,
always
it's
going to
good.
be here.
Mm.
And like I'm going to cry now.
Yeah.
But I was nearly brought to tears because yeah, in any way I am, any
Yeah.
form, Jesus will take me. So I love that because it's so real. I
Mm.
think it's not this fake like as you're saying in your testimony, you were in the relationship and you felt the
Mm.
presence, but you realised that you weren't a perfect child. And it's not about, once we've declared ourselves Christians, becoming a perfect child. It's not that at all. It's realising I need a saviour,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I need
Yeah.
someone to save me from
Mm.
myself, from my sins. It's not saying I'm sinless or, I'm now white as snow, and
Yeah.
it's saying, Jesus, I need you. I need you every day.
Mm.
Um, but
It's interesting because, like, for me, I had a knowing. I knew of God. I knew God. Um, but I suppose for me, in that moment, the emotion that came in was more than just a head knowing. It then became a heart knowing, a knowing that this God who is there, who I knew has always been there, was actually someone who was calling himself Father to me, saying that I actually am your daddy,
yeah,
and I am your friend through the form of Jesus, your Savior through the form of Jesus, and that knowingness of a person, not just sort of a distant, far away being, but an actual person, was that pivotal moment. So looking at the life of Jesus, like I suppose that's the pivot, like that's the pinnacle. That's where we should be going with our relationship with God. But I suppose from a more mediocre point of view, I suppose from a middle point, I suppose a question for me is, what does that relationship look like, or what has that relationship looked like for me? What does that relationship look like for you? When has it been at its best? Maybe when has it been at its worst? And at its best, what has it meant? What does it look like? What was involved on your end? Were you doing certain things, and was it more organic, or was it something that you were more disciplined in doing?
I don't actually have those that polarized scale that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
It's evolving
yeah,
every
yeah. That's
single
fair.
day.
Yeah.
Like my relationship is a walk with Jesus that sometimes we're walking hand in hand. Sometimes I've skipped off ahead,
Mm.
or he's ahead and I'm behind. But it's a journey. Like there's sometimes that I am more faithful and I'm praying and I can give things over. And what I find in those times when my relationship is strongest with Jesus, I am a better person. I am
Mm.
nicer. I am calmer. I am more loving, more willing to help. But when I am further away, I'm cranky. I'm tired. I don't
Yep.
want to deal. I, I, I don't know. I think I need to prioritize God a bit more, but it's definitely about the walk that I'm experiencing.
It's funny you say that. About you feel like you're being like a better person, I suppose. Like less cranky, more patient, all that sort of stuff. Um, uh, when you enter into a relationship with Jesus, people use this terminology or use this idea of transformation, that Jesus transforms you from the inside out. So, would that goodness be a transformation from how you were previously, or have you always been kind of good and just kind of depended on your mood and that sort of stuff, or would you have seen a noticeable difference since since you've entered into this relationship with Jesus?
I think I have. I think I definitely have. There's been different thought, like I catch myself thinking different thoughts or behaving in a certain way. There's definitely a transformation. Sometimes I slip. Sometimes I fall back into sin and fall back into old patterns and old ways. And it takes me, I don't know, whatever it takes me to get out of it. It takes me God to get out of it. But it's definitely a transformative relationship. And I think others see it as well. Like Mason, for example, was it last week? I had a bit of a cranky, tired period, and I came to God, and I came and I surrendered how I was feeling to Jesus, and I was actually brought to tears. Like I was just so wrung out and emotionally drained. And the next morning, like I gave it to God, and then it was of a night time, and then the next morning I woke up and I was a lot more patient. When putting the boys to bed that night, or the kids to bed, tucking Mason in, he goes, "Mum, what's happened?" And I said, "What?" And he goes, "You seem a lot calmer today."
Okay.
And I went, "Oh, I'm feeling a lot calmer."
Yep.
I said, and I said to him, I actually, had a big prayer session and gave it all to God, all that frustration that I was feeling. So he noticed that. Like he didn't know because it was late at night, the night before, where I had my aha moment. And he noticed the change in me the next day. So I think it is definitely transformative. We're constantly being transformed by Jesus. So
that's certainly been my experience. I've been blessed really to be able to witness so many lives before and after coming to know Jesus, and I truly, I know probably people would say I'm a bit biased because I'm a Jesus follower myself, but I truly have seen black and white differences between the person before and the person after. There's no doubt in my mind that there's been some sort of transformation, like divine transformation. Before you came into a relationship with Jesus to now, would you say there's been things that you didn't know then that you do know now that you needed to change?
Yeah.
So there was kind of like that eye-opening
Yeah.
kind of moment where it's like, wow, I was doing that? Couldn't believe that.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the thing that springs to mind is really quite personal. I don't wish to share that, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's things that I was doing which one could say is of the world.
Yeah.
Because the world would think it's okay, and say, it's fine. Just go ahead. But I've been convicted by God to say, actually, that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's against God.
Yeah.
So, and there's been so much around that. I'm trying to think of something else rather than.
Well, it's interesting as you're thinking about that. It's because, like, for me, like I always thought some of that stuff was, so especially some of the personal stuff, like, obviously it could be anything, what you're talking about, but some of the personal stuff, it can be that kind of like, oh, it's not hurting anybody. It's just me. Like, if anything, it's just hurting me.
Definitely.
But the more and more I dig deeper into Scripture and more my relationship with Jesus, the more I realize that sin isn't innocent.
Yeah.
That even if it's personal and it's not sort of harming anybody, it actually is, because it's harming us, which in turn is then harming other people, because the condition of our heart reflects our words that we say, the way we respond and react to other people. So it actually is hurting us. It's hurting others.
It's having
it's
an
not
effect
innocent
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I think apologizing and meaning the apology is the first step.
So this is prayer, right? It's you're right. Communicating, just communicating, talking. It's interesting because the thing that immediately came to mind when you said that, just talking, is our son Mace.
Mm. Oh my
He
goodness.
often just says, "I don't know what to say."
But how often does he? He doesn't stop talking.
Yeah, that's what I
This
mean.
kid.
Like he doesn't know what to say. Like you say, like he's talking. We want to pray, and he just goes blank.
Yeah.
And then he just says to us, "I don't know what to say."
Mm.
And it makes me think, like, we put this expectation or some sort of mindset on
Possibly.
what prayer should be, or
Possibly.
has to be said a certain way. And
But I
like,
think
I don't know
that
where that comes from.
I think that comes from media as well. Like as you were saying in the movies, get down on your knees and hands together, bow your head. So
Probably even the church now I think about it, like in the past days, earlier days, Catholic Church, you'd have to recite the same thing over and over again and
it's
do that sort of
still
stuff.
very relevant in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I have complete value in the prayers. Like I see them as being written by someone who was very heartfelt. But we can say them in a stale way. We can just say them because we have to say them.
Well, look at our kids.
Yeah, yep.
So we say grace over our meals, and it often sounds like, "Dear God, thank you for our food, bless it to our bodies." And then our kids would start to pray over night time.
Oh, yeah.
And they would automatically be going, "Dear God, thank you for our food, bless it to our bodies." Oh, wait. We're praying for bedtime.
Yeah, yeah. So that regular saying of it just becomes a
bit of a habit.
Yeah.
But
lose meaning.
Yeah. I know people, friends that have said, "I don't know how to pray."
Yeah. Yep.
And it is this idea, and I think it does stem probably from Catholicism, probably from movies, probably from society in general, that there is a rule to prayer. You need a rosary beads, or there's a ritual that you have to perform, light a candle or down on your knees, or something.
Or has to be certain times of the day, or only on Sundays.
But you can pray through writing in your journal. You can pray that way. You can pray just by talking to God. You can pray in your mind. You can have your eyes open.
Yep.
You can pray in the bath. You can pray in the shower. Anywhere. It's talking in a heartfelt way to God. And I think maybe we need to drill that into our kids and, our friends and church family a little bit more.
What I was reminded, and I suppose I have to keep reminding myself too, is that prayer isn't just talking.
No.
It's listening too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a matter of being still. Deliberately being still in the presence of God and allowing Him to speak to us.
There's this, it's a relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not a one-way road.
Yeah.
It's not that we just give all of our sins or whatever and take all the blessings
feel
from
burden
God.
free, and now it's thanks God I can do my own thing now.
It's a relationship. It's a two-way street where we need to open up, surrender, listen to Him.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important as Christians that we recognize that it's not about us, that it's about God, and it's about giving Him glory.
The Apostle Paul, and how, like, even when he was shipwrecked and in prison and, going through illnesses and various other, major things that we would probably be lamenting about too, he would actually turn around and say that I found the secret of contentment in the midst of that. I suppose saying that God's will be done regardless. May whatever happen, I'm still going to be content. I'm still going to be okay.
And I think that's the life of every Christian. That's where we're headed. That's what we need to be like.
Instead of the why me?
Well, there's this saying that it's what is it? It's God doesn't give you more than you can handle.
Mm.
That's a load of crap. The presence of God in your life
Yep.
gives you the ability to handle in a better way. So
Yeah. Like, because it kind of links into a saying that I've kind of coined from probably other people as well, is that God doesn't call the equipped; He equips the called.
yeah.
And storms may come your way. I suppose God's blessing and His provision, His equipping, will match whatever storm comes your way.
Mm.
Is the storm still going to come? Yes. Is it still going to be painful? Probably. More than likely, yes.
Kind of almost guaranteed.
But
Pain's
will you
part of
get
this
through
world.
it? Of course you will,
Yeah.
because God is not going to leave you alone.
Yeah. Amen. That's
That's
awesome.
As an encouragement, because I know there's been people in my life who I've wanted and have been trying to invest in, just to tell them the gospel and for them to receive it and enter into a relationship that I've got, like I've got, and for them to feel the love, the peace, and just the grace of God. And they're not quite there yet, and it can be quite a bit of a downer. It can be, what have I done wrong?
Why me?
Yeah, I suppose it's firstly recognizing that it's not our job to convert.
True.
It's God's job. We're just the obedient ones to share the
Yeah.
gospel.
No, I've learnt that sharing my testimony has power. So I think realizing that I needed to be saved was the huge thing.
Yeah.
And I can't say any really good one-liners.
Yep.
And it is a lot of little bits of information, not all at once, because that's overwhelming, but a lot of little.
Were there
little
key
bits.
people? Like, was there a key person that you can think of that was like that?
You, my dear husband.
Oh, okay. That wasn't deliberate. That wasn't like a.
I thought it was.
No.
I thought you were like, yeah.
No.
It was
No.
you. It was
Okay,
you
yeah.
who, when you said to me, you have tried Hinduism, you've tried Buddhism, you've
Yeah.
tried everything else. I was currently looking at,
Reiki.
No. I was doing Reiki, but I was looking at Gnosticism.
Oh, yep.
And you're the one who said, you've tried all this. Why don't you try
Jesus.
Christianity?
Yeah.
Why don't you give Jesus a go? And I'm like, duh.
Yep.
I've been there, you know.
Yep.
But it wasn't until, and I because I was raised Catholic, it wasn't until I actually started coming to church and really started listening that Jesus, and it was such a little quiet voice, this little quiet voice, Jesus saying, come to me. I'm going to cry again.
Yeah.
Jesus saying, come to me.
Yeah, that's
Come
huge.
to me.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go. I was gripping my seat. I didn't want to give it up.
Yep.
So it wasn't a big, light switch on or, burst into flames type of thing. It was a slow, gradual thing where Jesus just kept calling me. But you were the big influence in my life. And you would drop little hints as well. Like we would have debates, so we'd have big D&Ms and then would have little insignificant conversations.
Prayer's more important than
Yeah,
that. It should be our first and last, and everything in the middle.
Definitely.
Because it is our access to the Creator. It's our access to God, access to Jesus.
This is our superpower.
Yeah.
Prayer is our superpower.
Yeah, if there was such a thing as superheroes,
yeah,
I suppose this would be it.
yeah.
That this is our source.
And Jesus
was the
our
original
secret
superhero.
source. Yes, I love it.
Jesus was our original superhero.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Look, we wish all the mothers out there, all the grandmothers, all the great grandmothers, all of the women out there, we wish you a happy Mother's Day today. And we wish you a happy Mother's Day too.
Oh, thank you, honey. I'm so lucky.
I would say you're the greatest, but we're obviously got a lot of people watching. So
You can the greatest. I'm the greatest. It's all right.
So you could be the greatest.
No, all of our folk are just wonderful, wonderful mothers.
Yeah.
All the mothers that we have
Absolutely.
with us anyway,
Yep.
and all the mothers we know. Happy Mother's Day to my mum, to our mum,
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mum.
to my sister and all our friends, our sisters,
Yes, our sisters.
our
Yes.
sisters, and happy Mother's Day to everyone who's almost a mother
Yeah.
or
Or a motherly influence, because I know
motherly
there's certainly plenty of
influence.
those as well.
Yes.
Yep.
So God bless you, God keep you,
Yep.
and may you have a great day today. Blessings,
Bless yous.
guys.